Greetings and welcome to the Halloween edition of the Sliders Review. And I'm here today to talk to you about Shelter, the 2010 movie. This movie is also known by the name Sick Souls. This movie has a really interesting history. It was made in 2010. It was supposed to come out in American theaters in 2011, but it got scrapped. And then it got put in limited theater releases. And then it came out on digital around 2013. And when it came out in 2013 online, this is when they changed the name to the title Sick Souls. Because I guess when you hear the name Shelter, you don't think of what this movie is about. And I get why they called it that because of this one element in the movie, but it's not enough. So they should have just called it Sick Souls to begin with. Plus, there are tons of different romance movies by the name of Shelter. So right before I get into who wrote this, because I just now found this information out after I just got through recording everything. Now I know why it feels like The Ring combined with Identity. Now I'll explain the whole identity thing in just a few seconds. But the reason why it feels like The Ring is because this is made by the producer of The Ring. So this is why. Now this totally makes sense. Because when you watch this movie, it feels like both movies are combined. And of course, the producer, because they putting in the money, they get to say, hey, I want this to be this way or that to be that way and stuff like that. This makes perfect sense now. Oh my God. But the weirdness of this movie don't stop there. It has to do with who is written by. Now, the person that directed it, I don't know that person. I don't remember their name. Plus, I can't even pronounce their name. But it's the dude who directed, what's it called? Underworld Awakening, which kind of explains that. I mean, I've said this before. I only like the action in that movie, and that's the only reason why I own it on DVD. It started the trend of ruining, the Underworld series. But this movie is written by Michael Cooney. And Michael Cooney has a really interesting history in cinema. He's married, I believe, to Jennifer Cooney, I think. And I like her. But, a lot of his projects bomb. Every movie this man has ever written has bombed at the box office and gotten negative reviews except for Identity, which Identity is now considered a cult classic. In November, I'm going to talk about Identity. I was going to talk about it for Halloween month, but, the bit misconception about Identity is that people think it's a horror movie. It's not. It's a whodunit crime drama that deals with personality. No, what's it called? Identity personality disorder. I think that's how you say it. Or is it personality identity disorder? It's one of those two. And so what's crazy is that this movie, when you watch it, which is on Tubi, it's just now, like I said before, it's called Sick Souls. When you watch this movie, you'll realize something. This movie is trying to be a cross between that of The Ring and Identity. And I didn't even know the dude wrote Identity until I just looked it up now. I'm just like, why does this feel like Identity? Now, Identity had a very, very smart premise, and the twist will make you go, oh my God, you didn't see that coming. Here, he tries to do the same thing, but remember how I said people always think of Identity as kind of like a horror movie type thing, and it's not? Well, this time he tried to make Identity into a horror movie, and a lot of people was not feeling this. It got negative reviews. But I actually like this movie. I think so here's the problem with this movie. I like it. I don't love it. I wish it could have been one or two things. Either keep the movie exactly the way it is, but change that third act that gives you the twist. Explain another reason how all these souls go into one guy, not the way of witchcraft and a witch doctor. It was just kind of a little too hokey, you know what I'm saying? But the whole reverend thing and how the man hasn't aged in like over 100 years and stuff like that. It was a little too hokey and everything. Either just change that third act to where the souls go into people like a different way, or just make this a crime drama about personality identity disorder and make it grounded. That's all you gotta do. And it would have been a really good drama and everything of the thing about Identity is that like when I first watched Identity on television, I missed the first part. So I didn't see the overweight bald guy. But the overweight bald guy is in the very beginning of the movie. Then as you're watching the rest of the movie, he's not there until like the end. And then, you find out what's really going on. And it's like, oh my God. But instead, in this movie, you could have known what happened at the very earliest and stuff. And so I wish it could have just been a more grounded movie about personality, identity disorder. What the heck is that called? It's one of the two. But this movie was creepy when it got to the end and the chase and everything. Because once you know who this guy is, you're scared for all the people that he's about to get. And so because of that, it does have you on the edge of your seat wondering, oh my God, is he going to get these people and stuff? So that was really good. But the problem is it's a psychological horror, but the majority of the movie is psychological with the personality identity disorder, identity personality disorder, whichever one it is. I'm just going to call it identity disorder so I can just stop messing it up. So it deals with that for like the whole hour, maybe hour and 10 minutes. So like 70 minutes it deals with that. And then with the remainder 20 minutes, then they shove in the supernatural horror part of it. And it's just kind of like, they should have had more of the horror, supernatural, paranormal stuff all throughout the movie so what's going on. I get it. They wanted a twist. They wanted to avert your expectations. They want you to go like that, you know what I'm saying? But it was hokey. That's the problem. So if they would have added all that supernatural stuff early on in the movie and all throughout the middle and stuff like that, then that big reveal towards the end would have been so much more satisfying and everything. Now, you do get a little bit of a supernatural thing in the form of a growth growing on the back of their neck and on their back spine, but you don't know what the heck that's about. So something freaky deaky is going on, but you don't really know what because it's so grounded for the rest of the movie. Then when the guy goes through his identity disorder thing, the way he turns his head back and his mouth opens elongated, it's like, how is he still alive? His neck should have snapped. So you're dealing with something supernatural, but you don't know exactly what. And then when you find out, it's just kind of like, I don't know, it's a little too hokey with the whole witch doctor thing and the spirits and it's a little hokey, you know what I'm saying? Now the movie, the acting is amazing, you know what I'm saying? It is amazing. And that's what really sucks, because this movie could have been it, you know what I'm saying? It really could have done something. But it's just that third act and the big reveal that's just kind of like, man, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I don't know if I should believe that for the sake of this movie. Or it's like, if I just say it's dumb for the sake of the movie. They should have explained it a little bit better. I just wish they would have, or just keep out the horror stuff altogether. And so the people in this movie, one of my favorites, Julianne Moore, which actually her real name is Julie Ann Smith. So normally it's spelled like Julianne, like all one word, but it's actually Julie space Ann space Smith. Why she changed her name? Heck if I know. But I always feel bad for this woman, man. She's an amazing actress. But sometimes the movies she picks, like they always tend to bomb. She was in the second Hannibal movie, and people was pissed because she wasn't Jodie Foster and she acted differently, and the movie bombed. You know, I've never seen that movie. I've seen the first one, I've seen the third one, I've seen the television show, but I've never seen the second, and I've never seen the reboot. Which those two seem to be the ones that people don't like. Oh, and I didn't see the Clarice show. I just didn't want to watch it. And then when I was gonna watch it kept getting canceled, renewed, and canceled again. I was like, screw it. And then she starred in the second Jurassic Park movie, which I actually liked that movie, but people don't. So that was another flopper for her. Then there's this movie, and it's just like, come on, man, catch a break. And so, like, you know, it also stars that of Jonathan Rhys Majors, or no, Mayers. So Jonathan Rhys Mayers, and I've never seen him in anything prior to this, but that man did an excellent job pretending to be all these different people. Sadly, however, his life has been on the rocks. You know, he's battling demons for the past, which feels like 5, 6, 7 years, something like that. So he's going through it. And there's other people in here, you know, there's Brooklyn Plouk. She was so adorable in this movie, but she's now retired and stuff. She was actually a movie actress and only did one television show. I can't think of this dude's name. I think it's Jeffrey Demon or something like that. He plays the father. This man looks and sounds just like Larry David, I swear to God. And I forget the person who plays his son. But I've seen him in a couple of stuff. And he always tends to play the same type of role. So I see the typecasting right there with him. So that sucks. And there's another woman in this movie. I forget her name. But she's famous as well. But yeah. Like, the movie's actually pretty good. It's just, like I said, just get to that third act. Now, what it's about is this. You have Julianne Moore's character, who plays Carla Harding. And so Carla is a psychiatrist. And she lost her husband to, like, a car accident or something like that. And she's a religious woman, but her daughter is not. Her daughter has given up on God because her father died. And she's all like, well, there can't be one if he let daddy die and everything. And so, like, and she refuses to, like, say the Bible verses and the hymns and all this other stuff. Like, this girl stays stone cold silent. And so in the beginning of the movie, you'll have, like, the doctor, Cara and everything. She is going in front of, like, a panel talking about this man who's pretending to have identity disorder, right? And he said, you know, it wasn't me who, like, assaulted and killed these people. It was my split personality and everything. But she believes there was no such thing and it was really him. So he got put to death by lethal injection and stuff. Then her dad wants her to see a very special case. It's a man in a wheelchair by the name of David. And David's a really nice, sweet guy. So she does her psychological thing on him, asking how many, like, windows were in your I'm getting a brain fart. How many windows was in your child home back in the day? Childhood, that's what I'm about to say. I'm getting my words and this stuff, man. Like, you know, how many numbers you see, this and that. And he can't see the one that's covered. You need a special lens to see. So then the dad ends up calling David, and he's all like, put Adam on the phone. And then you see this weird, bizarre transformation of this guy's head turning, twisting, his head going all the way back, you know. And then he acts completely different and goes by the name of Adam. And Adam's very tough with a Brooklyn or New York type accent. And he's also color deficient, like, you know, in the eye or colorblind or whatever. Then all of a sudden, when she turns around, he is standing up. He is no longer in a wheelchair. The dad, you know, thinks this is the most bizarre case he's ever seen, and he wants his daughter to like investigate it because it's just so fascinating to him. And the dad is so quirky and everything. So it's one of those type movies where you have like a psychiatrist acting like a detective. So she's going from one clue to another to another. It's funny how Hollywood always does that. Reporters turn into detectives, teen kids turn into detectives, widow people turn into them, and psychiatrists. So she's solving this case all on her own and everything. And it leads her to look in, like, you know, the library and look up this David guy in the yearbook. And she can see it's a completely different guy. So she heads to David's mom's house. David's mom is like, you know, really sad. She's like religious and stuff like that, right? So then, all of a sudden, she's going to prove that David is lying because there's no way David could have known Adam. Oh, no, there's no way Adam could have known David because he would have been 6 when David died. And David died a very tragic death when he was out in the woods at night and a man grabbed him and did all kind of nasty stuff, tortured and killed him. And so, like, killed other people. So, like, she has Adam do the whole transformation thing into David. And David's like, oh my God, Mom, you found me and everything. The woman's like, you are not my son. My son is dead. But then he's all like, says, oh, but you have like a nail inside your pocket. And it's like a big long nail, right? And then he explains why she keeps it there. She gets pissed and slaps the taste out his mouth. Talking about how dare you pretend to be my dead son and all this other crap, right? So then all of a sudden, like, she takes him out into the woods where David was kidnapped and everything. And so all of a sudden his wheelchair gets stuck as she's trying to get reception for herself. He is now standing up and he's pissed at her. And he tells her his name is Wes. So he has all these different identities in him. So what's going on? Is this Adam guy playing her for a fool? So after some more research, this and that, and it leads her to, like, you know, this dude's house where the dog is there and the man has literally like been dead for a long stinking time. And that man is Wes, a former rock band type dude. And so, like, everything is so confusing her. She doesn't understand what the heck is going on. She knows he's not David. She knows he's not Wes. But then all of a sudden, she finds Adam's body. No, wait, where did she find the rock dude body? I forget. I think the cops found his body. But she went to the house and she found Adam's body. So it's kind of like, what the heck is going on, right? Like, who is this dude? Well, then all of a sudden, like, you know, she's talking to this one other doctor dude on the phone earlier and he starts coughing up. And it's weird because when people are affected, they start coughing in a very nasty way and they're spitting out dirt. And then there's some weird bumpy thing on the back of their neck. So when she goes to pick up her daughter at like practice or whatever, all of a sudden the dude pretending to be Adam, David, Wes or whatever, is there talking to her daughter and everything. And she's pissed and freaking out because, like, you know, the cops and her think, you know, Adam or whatever his name is killed like some people and stuff. So it's just one of those weird movies where it's kind of like, okay, what's going on? This dude is pretending to be somebody else. There's like this weird coughing thing with dirt. Like, what the world's going on? Then you start seeing her father cough and then her daughter cough. But like, why? And so like it leads her to like the mountain, to the mountain people. I told you this before. Every time, and I mean every time, there's a horror movie and there are a bunch of like hicks and hillbillies and rednecks. It's the most stereotypical thing ever. They're the most extreme version you will ever see. And so, still while investigating and everything, she comes across this witch doctor lady, this old, decrepit looking lady who's wearing prosthetics. And they got like warts all over her face and gray hair. Now, the actress is a bit younger than that. She was actually in the Haunting Hour, that call episode. Wrong number. And so, like, the woman doesn't want to help her. But then she sneaks into that lady's place and sees the lady performing a weird ritual and everything, where the lady's like carving things on a man's chest. He's hollering. Then she cuts open his side and pulls out an organ. Then she blows into, oh no, she sucks something out his mouth and then she puts it in a jar. And then she's all like, "Do you believe me now?" And I'm just like, what the heck is going on? And this is when the movie starts to get hokey. And you're just kind of like, what the heck, man? So it leads her to this really old man who was around back in, like, I don't know, the early 1900s. Somehow he is still alive. And he shows her a projector and told her, like, what you talking about, the witch doctor lady reminds me of something. So when he was a little boy, him and his dad was out and they were recording stuff. And this was during the flu epidemic, right? And so, like, there was a man named Reverend Christensen. And he was born, like, in the late 1800s, right? And I think he died in the early 1900s, around 1913 or something like that. And so, like, he tells the story of how this man is a reverend and the flu was going around. He told these people, hey, look, you don't need no medicine. All you need is God. But he secretly had his kids vaccinated while letting the townfolk people die. This pissed off the townfolk people and they dragged him out into the woods. And wouldn't you know it? And there is the witch doctor lady, slightly younger. And she does her spell, like, and she sucks out his soul. Then she covers his mouth with dirt so his soul can't go back in there. And then she blows his soul up into the air. Now, we don't know what the Reverend dude looks like, right? Until she's talking to somebody on the phone. She thinks she's talking to probably her dad, and he's sounding sick, right? And then she looks at the projector and sees, oh wait, the Wes Adam David guy is the Reverend from all those years ago. How can this be? How can he still look the same exact way? And so now he is the one killing people. So the thing is like this. If you don't believe in God, he will come after you. So that's why he went after Adam. That's why he went after David West. That's why he went after the doctor friend of hers. And that's why he's going after her daughter and father. He gets the father and we see him actually get him. And it's a weird kind of way, which is even more hokier, right? But this makes you really scared of the dude now, right? Because he's super strong and everything. So then, since her dad is dead, whenever he kills somebody, their soul goes into him because he sucks it into them. And this is where their consciousness live. And like, he's able to impersonate them. And when he impersonates the father, it's so hilarious. Calling the son Buckaroo. So the little girl's scared, the brother's scared. They try to fight the dude off. And then they head into the mountains to the witch doctor. But the brother fell through some glass and he later dies by trying to fight off the evil Reverend dude. Why is the Reverend guy evil? Heck if we know, it's never explained. And you think, he would go after the witch doctor lady, but he never does. He just passes her and doesn't care. Well, by this time, she gives her daughter to the witch doctor to try to save her, but she's like, look, This is called the sheltering, which is why it's called shelter. And once it starts, it can't stop. So here he is chasing after her into the woods, holding on to her daughter. She's tripping, she's falling, and all this other stuff. So then he gets to the daughter, he does the ritual, and he sucks her soul into him. Pretending now, or not really pretending, because now he is the daughter. So the mom does something unsurprising. She chokes the crap out of the Reverend Christensen and then impales his neck on a giant spike, killing him. This causes all the souls to leave his body some magical way that's never explained, and it goes back into their original bodies of his host. But they're all dead, except for now the daughter. And here's the thing, right? When David was younger, he used to make his own music and he used to hum it. Kara knows what the humming sound sounds like. All of a sudden, her daughter starts making that noise, meaning all those people's souls now went into her daughter, including the Reverend. So do you see where it gets kind of hokey? And it's like, don't get me wrong, all the psychological stuff with the personality disorder stuff, that was cool, that was fascinating, and that was really good. So you're hoping to figure out this mystery. If they just would have made it into like a man pretending to have this, and like he's turned out to be a killer, that could have been cool. But then, you get into all the twists and the magic and all this other crap, and it's just weird and stuff. The chase scene is cool and everything. The fight scenes are cool. But it's just all that witchcraft, witch doctor stuff that's just weird. And some things just need to be explained a bit more. Like, how does the dude look the same exact way? And how is he now immortal? It's just all this weird stuff. You know what I'm saying? Because if his soul went up into the air and she put dirt in it so nothing could get back inside it, how did his soul get back in his body? How does everybody else's soul get in his body? Maybe if they would explain that and changed up a little bit, it would have done better. But it sucks this movie had negative reviews and bombed because, like I said before, it's pretty cool. And when you get to the end, it is pretty scary and everything. It's just... that twist just ruined it, man. And I guess it is vaguely explained why the Reverend is like evil, because it's kind of like now he's a ghost. And they keep saying, oh, if you lost your way with God, I guess that means he'll go after you. But then why doesn't he go after half the population of the world? And when he starts going after new people, it just happens to be people that, like, she knows, you know what I'm saying? And we don't know the brother's state of if he's religious or not. And speaking of, that whole thing with the sound with the brother was just stupid and added in to give him something to do other than him trying to protect his niece, which he did a bad job of. Because it's kind of like, there's this shadowy figure that, they saw on camera that goes into like the Reverend. That's all you need. Oh, okay, that's how the souls get into him, or some kind of angel of death thing, something like that. But no, he looked at it and it's all like, holy crap. And then he's like, it's a sound wave. Like, how the heck did he determine that? Just by the way it looks and everything. And then the sound wave is the voice of like the witch doctor lady. Okay, whatever. And what's crazy about this movie is when I watched it, I've never noticed this until now. There are like no people of color whatsoever in this movie. Everybody's white. Well, I think the witch doctor might be, she might be Greek or something like that. I'm not really quite sure. She might be Latina. I'm not really sure. I forgot what race she is, but if so, she's the only one. But you can't tell because of all the prosthetics on her face, and she's super old looking. And so it's kind of like, wow, there was like nothing but white folks in that movie. And it goes to what I say. This movie still flopped, and it had a predominantly white cast. So when all those like anti-woke mob people on YouTube saying that woke culture is ruining movies and television, That's not true because this was an all-white cast and it like bombed. And they're like, well, the lead was female, so ha ha ha, it's woke. But the co-lead is male and he did a really good job, just like the female did a really good job. So ha ha ha, ha, that's not true. Because you still had a strong male lead and everything. And when they say things like, oh, woke culture ruins like movies and television, and we know what they're talking about, people of color, the LGBT, and women. So why doesn't it ruin everything else? Why doesn't it ruin the job force? Why doesn't it ruin schools? Why doesn't that ruin friendships? Like, so if you're saying people of color, women, and LGBT ruin like so much stuff, then that's basically saying you don't like people of color, women, or the LGBT. See, that's what they really mean and everything. Because why does it only apply to the entertainment business and nothing else? Why does it only apply to things they like and cartoons they watched when they was kids, but nothing else in the real world and everything? So that's what they really mean. They don't want to. This is exactly why when you do see people of color on modern day television and movies, they're super light skinned and everything. And it's that whole debate of colorism, and like dark skinned black folks and light skinned black folks are like, angry at each other online because, one wants one and the other wants the other one, because it's all Hollywood's like, brainwashing and stuff because of them. It's trying to make them happy. Stop trying to make them happy. And so, there are so many predominantly white movies that bomb at the box office, but you never hear them saying like, oh, trashing it really bad, or oh, woke this and woke that. And it's kind of like, dude, just admit you're racist and a bigot. And when you call them that, they get so up in arms and pissed when you call them racist and bigots when they know that is who they are. It's like calling an alcoholic an alcoholic, and the alcoholic gets pissed off and mad because they know they lie and be like, I'm not that. Oy. That wasn't that spooky. All right, well, I shall talk to y'all later. Bye.